Alright battlers, welcome back to a brand new Go Battle League video. I reached rank 10 in the Go Battle League, and these are some of my craziest battles. Trainers, if you enjoy this footage, please leave me a like, comment down below what you thought, and subscribe. For the first battle of the video, I decided to bring my Lantern. I do have my Azumarill and Toxicroak in the back. So Azumarill is very meta, but otherwise this is a very anti-meta team. My opponent is Q. I'm just going to call him Q. I think it's QZen is the full name. But here we encounter Lucario. So this is actually not a bad situation for me, but I realized, trainers, that I brought the wrong Lantern. It's not double moved, and it knows Charge Beam. I switch in Toxicroak there and get a few counters off, but out comes Altaria. Altaria is going to really make quick work of my Toxicroak, but I'm able to get a shield from it with the Sludge Bomb, which is really nice. Here my opponent could have Dragon Breathed me down and save that energy, but instead they choose to use the Sky Attack, which is actually pretty good for me. So now I can bring in my Lantern here with the Charge Beam. I don't know exactly how much damage Hydro Pump will do. Obviously Thunderbolt is the preferable move here, but my opponent does shield the first one, so we're able to earn both shields from my opponent. I still have 2 shields all day. I'm expecting a Dragon Pulse, and it is, which is really good that we shielded that because Dragon Pulse would do a ton of damage. I'm going to fire off another Hydro Pump here against Altaria, and remember, trainers, I still don't know what they have in the back. At this point, I am expecting a Sky Attack based on how many Dragon Breaths my opponent did, and it is. We're actually able to farm up the rest of that Altaria. Out comes the Lucario, and here the Hydro Pump is going to be more than enough. My opponent doesn't have any shield, so it has to go through. In comes Registeel, and this is really bad for me, trainers. I decided to bring in my Azumarill here to absorb this charge attack, and as you know, Registeel is going to win this matchup. My opponent does go for Focus Blast, though. Definitely there are 2 moves better than that against Azumarill, being Flash Cannon and Hyper Beam. But here comes another Focus Blast. I'm actually able to get to 2 play roughs here against a Registeel, which is really nice. Just trying to chunk this thing down, but I am watching my switch timer the entire time, trainers. It's almost up. I am going to shield this attack to protect my Azumarill. I switch into Lantern here, a few more Charge Beams, and we're actually able to pull off the Hydro Pump. So using the wrong Lantern, we land the Hydro Pump, and we win that game. GG's. Going to the next game, I'm going to lead with Wigglytuff. I do have Frostlass on my team as well. My opponent is actually going to be Corey Slayer. I lead Wigglytuff into Corey's Medicham. This is actually a very good matchup for me. As you can tell, that Charm is just chunking down that Psychic Fighting type Medicham. Both types are weak to a Fairy, so it's going to be very, very effective. He does not bail out. Instead, wanting to preserve switch advantage, he does bring in his Azumarill here, and I switch into my Frostlass. So Frostlass is going to get one-shotted by a Play Rough, and that's exactly what comes through here, so I did shield correctly. I'm going to try to get to the Shadow Ball here, and a lot of these matches, trainers, you're going to learn that these Pokemon with really fast attacks that are very good at generating energy are actually going to outpace some of your opponents, especially things like Azumarill, which takes a few bubbles to get to a charge move. I actually get to another Shadow Ball, which is really nice. It takes a big chunk of that Azumarill, but I am out of shields, trainer, so my opponent is going to use his charge energy to bring down my Frostlass. I do have Swampert and Wiggles in the back. I'm actually going to decide to come in here with Swampert and try to farm down, get a bunch of energy ready, and we're actually barely able to do it. In comes Altaria, and I'm going to go straight for Hydro Cannon here, trying to draw the shield. Now, Swampert doesn't have a lot of moves that are very effective against Altaria, but I swap in my Wiggles here and go straight for the Play Rough. This is going to be super effective against Dragon-type Altaria, and we win that game. Going into this match, I decided to lead Swampert. I do have Azumarill and Altaria in the back. Now, this is a very important showcase of the mirror match and how you can gain a slight advantage. So we do encounter Defense Deoxys, a great Pokemon to use in Go Battle League. However, Swampert will outpace it to the charge moves. Mudshot is so fast. Defense Deoxys also doesn't have a lot that can really hit Swampert that hard. So my opponent throws the Rock Slide and then makes a beautiful swap into Altaria. But check this out, trainers. I'm going to fire off the Hydro Cannon, and it lands. Now I know that I can bring in my Altaria and I can win this mirror match. So because my opponent was at a health disadvantage, I'm able to come in here and I know I can match shields with my opponent and win with the Dragon Breaths. If my opponent would have shielded, then it would have been a different game. I would have had to come up with a different game plan. But there I was able to use my Altaria, farm it down, get some energy together, and unleash the Sky Attack on Deoxys, burning my opponent's last shield. So trainers, when you're going into the mirror match, you need to try to gain every single advantage that you can and have a plan in place when things don't go your way. I decided to bring in my Azumarill here against Defense Form Deoxys, and I'm actually going to allow my opponent to fire off his charge move. Even the Thunderbolt is not going to KO Azumarill, and I value the energy over health at this point, so in comes Registeel. This is actually an okay situation for me because I have that Swampert in the back. I'm going to get to the Hydro Cannon so fast because we had a little bit of energy stored up from that previous matchup. One more Hydro Cannon is going to seal the deal, and I know that I only need to land one Play Rough on Defense Deoxys to beat that as well, so we are going to outpace Registeel with that lock on to the next Hydro Cannon, taking it down. In comes Defense Deoxys, and the Mud Shots will win it. Going to this game, I decided to leave Meganium. I do have Azumarill and Altaria. My opponent for this match is going to be Ghostmaker. I lead my Meganium into Ghostmaker's Defense Deoxys. So again, you're seeing a lot of these leads in the Go Battle League, and these Community Day Pokemon like Swampert, like Meganium are a really good way to get an edge on some of these more expensive legendaries and mythicals. The Community Day moves in particular are very important. Frenzy Plant and Hydro Cannon are just awesome moves all around. I'm actually going to take that Rock Slide and then fire off the Frenzy Plant here against Defense Deoxys. He will decide to shield it. I'm going to shield my Meganium as well. Counter is not going to do that much damage, and I want to keep Meganium around, so I swap into Azumarill. I'm trying to farm down this Defense Deoxys to get some energy together, but I don't want him to unleash a Thunderbolt, so I'm going to fire off the Ice Beam. We do earn that second shield, and I know this won't KO, so I'm going to allow it through. My Azumarill is going to get some energy together as well from this Deoxys because I was able to bubble it all the way down. In comes Registeel again. Trainers, we're seeing so many Registeels in the back. Let me know down in the comments below how you like to use Registeel. It's undoubtedly one of the best Pokemon in Go Battle League, but I know some trainers like it as the lead, some like it as the closer, and some like it as a safe swap. So let me know what you think. I do have my Meganium here, and I'm wary of a swap, so I'm going to try to get to that Earthquake, and we reach a CMP tie. I have to burn my last shield, trainers, because this is my only chance to take down Registeel. Altaria cannot pull it off, so we're going to fire off the Earthquake. It is super effective. Registeel goes down. In comes Altaria, and this is a mirror match, trainers. I am begging and praying that my opponent uses Sky Attack here and not Dragon Pulse. In comes the Sky Attack, trainers. We work up to the Dragon Pulse, and we get it off. Will it be enough? Yes, Dragon Pulse is more effective in the mirror. Do that, trainers. In this match, I decided to lead Alola Marowak with Azumarill and my Altaria in the back. Trainers, if you see yourself in my videos, please let me know in the comments below. It is so cool to connect with all of you all across the United States and the rest of the world. So I love Alola Marowak in the lead, and I'm actually going to feature it on a special team of 3 in tomorrow's video. I really think it's a great Pokemon to use because it can handle so much of the meta. I do decide to try and shield bait there with a Bone Club, trying to get my opponent to spend his shield, thinking that it was a Shadow Ball, but he does not take the bait. He does fire off that Psycho Boost, dropping his attack, which is favorable for me. I do go for the Shadow Ball, and it does get shielded though. So I'm going to work my way up to another Shadow Ball, and we're able to outpace Defense Deoxys to another charge move. Here we land that Shadow Ball. We are one shield each, but I've won the lead, and therefore I've won switch advantage. So in comes Azumarill. I do swap here into the mirror match with my own Azumarill, and then in comes Registeel. So this is not a great situation for me, trainers. As you saw, I do have Altaria in the back, and there's nothing I really have that can hard counter this Registeel. So how do we dig our way out of this hole? Let's find out. This Flash Cannon is going to land on Azumarill. I do have one shield, and I have to be very, very careful about how I use it. I do fire off the Play Rough here, and my opponent shields, which actually leaves me a great opening. In this kind of situation, trainers, it's kind of like playing chicken, and you want to see who blinks first. I do swap into a Marowak and land that Bone Club, which is great. That little bit of damage is going to be critical, trainers. Check this out. This Azumarill is very healthy. I decided to come in with my own Azumarill, and I try to get to a Play Rough here, but my opponent beats me. So my opponent fires off the Hydro Pump, but it does not KO. I'm able to get to a Play Rough here, and because Fairy doesn't resist Fairy, Play Rough is what you need to throw in the mirror match. My opponent actually spends their energy here, which I think is a critical mistake, firing off the Ice Beam. In comes Altaria, and this does not look good, trainers. This is looking very grim. I do reach the Sky Attack, though, and I think I'm going to be able to take out Azumarill, and we do. In comes Registeel. Can we tank an attack from the mighty Registeel? Flash Cannon does not KO Altaria. Altaria is OP confirmed. GG's. Going to this game, I decided to lead Whiscash. I do have Frostlass and Skarmory in the back. So again, trying to build teams of 3 that have a lot of complementary coverage. My opponent is going to be Gastric J. Jay is going to decide to lead his Altaria into my Whiscash. So this is not a great situation for me. I do have Frostlass and I swap into that. My opponent's going to fire off the Sky Attack here, and although I know this will not KO, I do want to keep Frostlass healthy. Now that I have a lot of energy, my goal here is to go for double Shadow Balls on Azumarill. I want to get this Azumarill off the battlefield as quickly as possible because it is a huge threat. Azumarill is just a great Pokemon. You've seen it on so many teams. My opponent actually lets both Shadow Balls through, which I think might have been a mistake, and at this point I let my Frostlass go. My opponent spends all of his energy on the Hydro Pump, so I know it is safe to farm. I do come in with my Skarmory here, and we get 3 Air Slashes worth of energy. My opponent does still have 2 shields though, and 2 Pokemon, so this is still anybody's game. I do fire off a Sky Attack here against Altaria, and it does land, which is great. Fire off a few more Air Slashes here, and Skarmory's Steel typing really helps it to resist these Dragon Breaths. So Skarmory is the top flyer. It can beat a lot of other flyers. Altaria still has its merits though. It's still a great Pokemon. In comes Ferrothorn, trainers. If you saw a Ferrothorn coming in the back, let me know. I did not see this thing coming. This is the first time I've seen it in Go Battle League. It is a Steel Grass type Pokemon. It is running Bullet Seed and Mirror Shot. Really, really wild moveset. In comes my Whiscash, and I fire off the Mud Bomb. I know Steel is weak to ground, but it is still grass, so that will be neutral. My opponent burns their last shield, though, which is very, very critical. Here comes the second attack. It's actually Power Whip. So it's Bullet Seed, Power Whip, and Mirror Shot. Trainers, here comes another charge attack. Can we survive and get to the Sky Attack? We do, and we get to the Sky Attack, but will it be enough to bring down Steel-type Ferrothorn? And it is. GG's. Going to this game, I decided to lead with my Whiscash. I do have Frostlass and Vigoroth in the bag. Vigoroth is a great Pokemon. It's a normal type that can learn Counter. Here we go with Whiscash against Azumarill. This is not a good situation for me. Not really sure what to do here, trainers. Honestly, I just gathered some energy and then made a swap. My Vigoroth is going to come in here to face off against Azumarill. I will shield the Hydro Pump, which I think is critical for this game. That was really important because the Hydro Pump would have taken a huge chunk of Vigoroth's health. I do get to a double Body Slam here. So if you played in the Sylph Arena, you remember Jungle Cup from Season 1. Vigoroth with the Body Slam spam is the real deal, trainers. It can dish out so much damage. We shield a second Hydro Pump, which is really nice. In comes Swampert. I'm actually going to fire off another Body Slam here, just sticking with the same rhythm, trying to beat down my opponent. I look for the swap, kind of flailing a little bit there, and I don't get it. Vigoroth is able to survive a Hydro Cannon, though, which is really critical. I do fire off another Body Slam, bringing that Swampert down into the yellow. So now I bring in my Whiscash with all that energy that I generated before, and I go straight for the Mud Bomb. My opponent is going to shield, so here we reach a CMP tie. I know Hydro Cannon won't KO me, but it will do a lot of damage, so I'm able to actually QSA my Mud Bomb, keeping my opponent from swapping out, and we take down Swampert. In comes Skarmory, trainers, and you know what I have to do. I have to get to Blizzard. My opponent makes a beautiful swap, and I almost mess up and fire off the Blizzard against Azumarill. I do land the Mud Bomb here, fire off a couple of Powder Snows to farm up that Azumarill. In comes Skarmory. I'm going to drop this Avalanche on Flying-type Skarmory. This is going to do a good chunk of damage. Now, if this is a Flash Cannon, Frostlass is out for the count, and it is. This game is coming right down to the wire, trainers. I push for the Blizzard, and we get there. Blizzard is going to be enough to bring down Skarmory. Very, very GG's. For this game, trainers, I decided to lead with Linoone. I do have Azumarill and Whiscash in the back. Linoone is a great Pokemon, a Swiss Army knife of moves. It is really unpredictable. Our opponent is Vic Bluffy. Anyways, we encounter Haunter here, and these Shadow Claws are going to add up. Linoone's Shadow Claw is so deadly, it's going to rip apart those Ghost types, and its normal type really helps it to resist Ghost as well. We fire off a double Grass Knot here against Clefable, and if this one lands, it will KO. And it does. Clefable is out for the count. In comes Swampert. Now, My Linoon has such great coverage with Grass Knot and Thunder, I can actually take on this Swampert, and we might actually do it here in a minute. So Swampert goes for the Hydro Cannon. I definitely think the Sludge Wave would do more damage, but here we go with an Earthquake. This Swampert knows Earthquake, such a deadly attack, but Sludge Wave is a little bit better against Azumarill because it is part Fairy. I do try to work up to another Ice Beam here, and we get it. So we got really lucky there, able to outpace Swampert to a charge move, and we burn that shield. Very, very critical. Here comes another Hydro Cannon to finish off my Azumarill. I do have Whiscash and my Linoon. Here comes Linoon, and I'm looking for my opponent to swap there, but he doesn't. So I am definitely going to shield this Hydro Cannon. I look for the swap there again, but he doesn't make it, so I go right ahead for the Grass Knot. Grass Knot is going to easily take down that Swampert. In comes Haunter, and I know I can Shadow Claw down this Haunter, but I want to be safe, so I'm going to go for the Grass Knot here and win. Going to this match, trainers, I decided to go with Valorash's squad. We have Alolan Raichu, Azumarill, and Registeel. I'm going to feature Valorash's team in a video very, very soon, trainers. You don't want to miss it. We're going up against Marty, 0803. Marty's going to lead his Wiggles into Alolan Raichu. This is really bad for me because Alolan Raichu, being part Psychic, is weak to Charm. In comes Meganium. I'm actually going to go here for the Focus Blast against Meganium. Still learning my Registeel matchups, trainers. If Flash Cannon was the right move, let me know down in the comments below. I do fire off a Flash Cannon here against Meganium, trying to put some shield pressure on it, and we actually earn that first shield, which is really nice. I'm expecting an Earthquake here, so I actually decide to shield, and it is an Earthquake that would have taken down our Registeel, as you saw earlier in the video today. I do fire off another Flash Cannon here, and it does get shielded. I look for the swap trainers, but I don't get there. I don't know if this is an Earthquake or not. It's actually just Frenzy Plant, so that probably was a wasted shield. In comes Shiftry, so my opponent timed it perfectly. If I would have Focus Blasted, I would have definitely one-shotted Shiftry. I bring in Azumarill, and this is a very questionable swap, trainers. Azumarill is not going to do very well against Shiftry. This game is really intense. I fire off this Ice Beam here, and we're able to bring down the Shiftry, which is great because we outpaced it to that second Leaf Blade. In comes Wiggles, and I'm trying to push for the Play Rough here, and we get it. So Fairy does not resist Fairy. This is going to take a nice little chunk of damage from Wiggles. He does bring down my Azumarill, though. And at this point, some crazy swap shenanigans occur. I'm going to bring in my Alolan Raichu. Here comes Meganium. A charge attack is coming my way. This is a Frenzy Plant. Can we farm down Meganium and get to our charge move? Yes. Here comes the Grass Knot against Wiggles. We are going to bring down the Wigglytuff with Grass Knot. GG's. Trainers, this was my road to rank 10. Rank 10 battles are coming very soon. I know they're going to be very intense, and I'm prepping really hard. I want to do well in the Go Battle League preseason. If you like this video, please leave me a like, comment down below what you thought, and subscribe to see more.